Hello again, welcome back to Football Spy, the internet's premier transfer talk show. We start today with one from left field, Jermaine Pennant. As you know, he's been on loan at Portsmouth from Liverpool last season, but with his contract expired, he's now a free agent. So could he be on his way to La Liga? File this one under strange but true because this is a picture that you can find on the excellent Off the Post website. It's Pennant landing in Barcelona. Let's just say he doesn't look as though he's on his holidays. The word is that he could be about to sign for the Spanish club Espanyol, and it would be quite a touch for him to be playing alongside the likes of Kaká and Cristiano Ronaldo next season, because I'm not a huge fan. Some people like him as a player, but I just think he hasn't got that final ball that puts him up there with the best. Anyway, check out the Off the Post website for the full story on that one. John Terry's going to find out the full story today as far as Man City's interest in him is concerned. Chelsea are back for pre-season, and this excellent piece in The Independent saying that although Carlo Ancelotti said what you'd expect him to say about Terry earlier this week, that's just the club stating their public position. And what's really interesting about this piece is that it says nobody at Chelsea has got the authority to sanction a new deal to get anywhere near the money City want to offer Terry except for Roman Abramovich and his top men. And just finally on this piece in the Indie, let's have a look at it again. It says that Terry might well be a bit concerned that Chelsea can't even compete with Man City for players this season, let alone Real Madrid. In other words, he shares the concerns of most of you out there that by the time Chelsea starts splashing the cash, lots of the top players are going to be gone. Whatever happens, we'll know more about where Terry stands after today. Now, sticking with Chelsea, and the Daily Express says that Carlo Ancelotti's ready to let the defender Michael Manson go to Wolves on loan this season. Seems like a good deal for all parties in the World Cup year as he gets experience. Wolves get a highly promising player and Chelsea get him some much needed first team football. One name that's been popping up more than any other over the last few days when we've been looking at your messages is Filippo Melo, the Fiorentina midfielder. It looks like all of you Arsenal fans want to see him at the club, but Juventus want him too. And at the moment, he looks more likely to sign a 5-year deal there. All of this has led Arsenal's second biggest shareholder, a guy called Alisher Usmanov, to come out today and have a go, really suggesting that the club just don't have the money to compete in the transfer market. He's saying that big money is exactly what they need. And if you go to a site called goal.com, there's I have to say, a well put together article by a guy called Sulman Ahmad, basically saying that Arsene Wenger's being way too tight and that Thomas Vermaelen, whom he describes as having come through the worst Ajax team for decades, is not enough. But I don't agree with the piece. If I were an Arsenal fan, I'd be behind Wenger not wanting to get ripped off by the many clubs who slap £5 to £10 million more on players just because I see Arsenal coming. And also, shout me down if you want to, but is Melo really that good? Really? A £21.5 million release clause is in his contract. But had you even heard of him before this year and suddenly now he's a £20 million player? I'm not so sure. Time for your messages, and TJ Davis thinks Chelsea should go for Real Madrid's reject Wesley Sneijder. I think they will. And a couple of you have been asking about this man. He's Freddie Montero. He plays for the Seattle Sounders in the MLS alongside the likes of Freddie Ljungberg. He's a 21-year-old Colombian striker who earned a contract with his first club, Deportivo Cali, after approaching them and asking for just a single day's trial. He's got a good strike rate, but I'm not quite convinced yet that he's good enough for the Premier League, but we'll keep you posted on any interest in him. When I saw a few days ago that Pompey were asking for a staggering £14 million for Peter Crouch, I thought they were chancing their arm a bit. But Sunderland have made an £11 million bid for him, says the Times. Regular viewers of this show will know that we've been telling you for some time that Steve Bruce wants to pair Crouch with Darren Bent, but £11 million? I'm not surprised that so many clubs are looking at foreign players. Some news in brief for you, and Wigan want the young Crystal Palace striker Victor Moses. He's 18, but he's already played 40 games for the Eagles. That's on mirror.co.uk. The Middlesbrough winger Adam Johnson's emerged as a shock target for Chelsea, say the Express. And sticking with the Express, we mentioned the shocking Alfonso Alves yesterday. Middlesbrough finally look set to get him off their hands as Benfica want him. The Sun say that Blackburn are going to move for Sunderland's intended target Darren Bent. And West Brom boss Roberto Di Matteo has made the Swindon striker Simon Cox his first signing. And just finally on the news in brief, Monaco's midfielder Jerko Lekos turned down a move to Wolves because they won't match his salary demands of 30k a week net. Quite right too. Time for Shame the Player, and once again a big thank you to X-Wing Class for suggesting this as a feature on YouTube the other day. Some excellent nominations from you for today's show as well. But I'm going to go with Mohamed's nomination, Dimitar Berbatov at Man U. Mohamed says, after pulling a sulk that a hormonal teenager would have been proud of at Spurs, Berbatov finally got his big money move to United and then proceeded to produce the most impotent performances that a player of his undoubted quality has shown since Adebayor signed his contract last summer. In fact, Mohamed thinks they should both be inducted into the Football Spy Hall of Shame. Nominate the player that you want to shame, and I'll pick one out to dig out every day. Remember, you have to tell me why you want to dig them out, and we're not just in for random abuse. Try and have some good reasons for us wanting to shame the player. Now, the Rude Boots are still the prize for anyone who can correctly guess the amount that Frank Ribery will move clubs for this summer. Let's have a look at some of your guesses. On YouTube, Caddyshack says £65 million, hasn't put down his boot size. On the Spy emails, spy@mirror.co.uk, Sam Harrington says £58.5 million. Sam Bunny's an Arsenal fan, thinks Ribery will go for 47.5. And on the Spy blog, Stephen Phelan from Limerick thinks Ribery will go for £50 million. Two more stories for you, and in the Mirror, Sir Alex Ferguson's eyeing up Inter Milan striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic for next season. Don't do it, Sir Alex. He's a shocking player. I saw him a lot in action in the Italian league last season, and while he scores great goals, he is most definitely not a great goal scorer. And Leo Messi wants to see Arsenal's Fabregas or Mascherano from Liverpool at Barcelona next season. Basically, Barcelona can only afford one, but both players would be interested. Watch his space. And in the Spy office, digging out some nice bits. She's got a good bit on the new Man United signing Gabriel Obertan. She's also got some footage on the blog of the Arsenal target, Blaise Matuidi, and also Ibrahimovic. Boo. More Spy for you tomorrow. I'll see you there.